Well, I think it's time to start. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, which is organized by Unimos, which is a Polish cluster, and Agri Sud-Ouest Innovation, a French one. We are members of what we call the PIC intercluster that federates 12 clusters in Europe in 8 countries, and that are working in the field of plant production. Today, we will speak about Actec, and especially Actec as a solution provider for a greener and sustainable agriculture. For that, if you want, we will share an agenda. It doesn't work. So, in 5 points. First, we will have a presentation of Business Friends, which is a French organization that support companies to go to international, with a definition of Actec, because most of the time people think that Actec are only startups that are working in the field of digital, which is of course wider than that. And we will have an overview of Actec in Europe, which is quite interesting. Then we will follow with a focus of funding via the Green Deal by Katarzyna Kowalska, the president of Unimos, the Polish cluster. And in the heart of this webinar, we will follow with testimonies of 2 Actec, the French one, My Easy Farm, and its co-founder François Thierrat, and the second one, a Polish one, MaxCrop, with Marek Szorobinski. Then we will follow with special information about a new European program, Next Generation, which is implemented then in National Recovery Plan with the example of the French one. And we will end with a special selection of calls in Eurozone Europe by Katarzyna. So we will begin with Business Friends and its presentation of an overview of Actec in Europe. So, Laure and Juliette, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Isabelle, for inviting us. Maybe I'll let you put the next slide. Yes, so Actec in Europe. Just in a few words, maybe I will introduce Business France first, so you know a little bit more about us. So as Isabelle mentioned, we are the agency in charge of supporting the international development of French companies abroad. So this is one of our 2 main missions. And the second one is helping to support, to welcome the international investment in France. So these are our 2 main missions. And we also have a third important mission, which is to promote the economic image of France, its companies and territories. We have about 800 employees abroad and more than 600 employees in France. And to give you a few figures, last year, we supported about 10,000 companies in their project development abroad through more than 370 what we call the collective operation, which are business trips basically for company groups of French companies. So if we enter into the key focus of this webinar, we try to find a simple definition of Actec, a very simple one that we like. So this is a before. You can put it back, or maybe I just read it. So basically, the simple definition we like is Actec are products and solutions that improve farming quality and output using technology. So this definition is quite a broad one, but we like it because it shows Actec not only focus on digital technologies, as Isabelle said in the introduction. So if we go in more detail into Actec categories, the one which attracts the most investments, we will see later, is agricultural biotechnology. So this is one of the leading category. If you can go back, Isabelle, right, to the definitions. Yeah. So this is the one that currently attracts the more investment. A small one, but with important development, is a blockchain and data supply chain. If we can go back to the definitions. So basically, all solutions using blockchain technology for example, to strengthen traceability of food ingredients through the whole chain, and thus increase the food safety, operational efficiency, and transparency. So this is a very expanding category. Cell-based protein, it's a smaller category, but also with which shows important growth. Basically, it's the use of cellular agriculture used to produce the next generation animal products. So we have also a few companies in France focusing on this category. Precision agriculture, we could say robotech. This is all the use of new technology, big data, drones, robots, to increase efficiency and sustainability in agricultural tasks. And the result is reducing the use of water, land, insecticide, etc. inputs, so to have a more efficient agriculture. Another category is the Internet of Things, Internet of Objects, which basically means all the services that would allow farmers to use, track, and manage data during the production cycle. And the last one, I would say, is urban agriculture, or maybe more widely, all kind of new agriculture, including urban agriculture, vertical farming, insect production also. So it's a small segment, but also which shows a very important increase. So this is for us the main categories, but we could also add fintech for agriculture, for example, which we didn't list in this list. In France, we also have a very strong wine tech sector. We also have agribusiness marketplace that are not in this definition. So we can see AgTech, in fact, it's several categories, it's a very large topic. Also, we didn't mention food tech in this presentation, really focus on AgTech. So this could be maybe another presentation. So if we go to the next slide, to give you a few figures now, yes, just to show you what's what's the size of the agri-food tech sector in 2020. So worldwide investment was $26.5 billion of investment in 2020, which represent about 2,700 deals and 2,700 investors. So basically, the sector had to go through a down year in 2019, which was followed by a huge increase in 2020, so plus 32% in terms of investment. In this figure are related to agri-food tech, but AgTech, the part of AgTech, is $15.8 billion in 2020, and food tech is $14.3 billion. You can see it's almost equivalent. But what we can see also is that the growth for AgTech is much higher, with plus more than 100% from 2019 to 2020. In terms of the top countries, because our interest today is to focus on Europe, so we thought it's interesting to see what the rank of Europe in comparison to other countries. So the first country is USA, second China in terms of investment for AgTech and food tech, third India, and the first European country, I would say geographical European, because we include United Kingdom. So the first one is UK, which ranked fourth, and France is at the 5th place, followed by Israel after. So let's go to the next slide. So if we look at these two charts, I'm not sure if it's really big enough for you to see, but what's interesting to see is the growth. So basically the colors. If you look at the chart on the left, you can see that the AgTech color, which is in strong blue, is increasing since 2014, is increasing continuously, which is not the case globally of food tech. You can see the food tech sector had some big increase in some years and some decrease in some other years. But for AgTech, the growth is very stable and very constant. And if you look at the categories of investment in AgTech through the years, so it's a graph at the right. So you can see basically all categories are growing, but the biggest growth in terms of investment is in the bio AgTech category, which is the big one, the light blue one. So this is also interesting figures. So what we will do now is to give you a little bit more details about 4 countries, the Actec situation for countries. So we choose France and UK, as you can see, because they are the leading country in geographical Europe. But we also choose Italy and Ukraine to show you how these countries are very dynamic in this sector. So I will let the floor to Juliette.
Okay, thank you, Laure. Hello, everyone. So yeah, we're going to talk quickly about 4 countries because I know we're running out of time. So France is actually with $660 million invested in 2020. France is ranked the 2nd country in terms of IDE in Europe. And so in fact, the sector, so we can go on the next slide. So the sector is really dynamic in France because we have like the support of the government. So actually the government is supported the sector with the French AgriTech, which is a program that dedicate a fund, 200 million euro dedicated to Actec within the 5 years. Also in France, we benefit of a strong ecosystem to support innovative companies in their development, such as competitive clusters, incubators, VC fund, corporate organization. Also, we have like numerous numbers of agronomic universities that trains every year 12,000 new engineers, and those engineers can create the startup of tomorrow. So this is like the situation of France. We can go to the next slide. And here are a few startups that raise money in 2020. I'm not going to detail them. Maybe you're going to have the presentation. So it's you have Neo that develop mechanical weeding robots. You have Insect, who is doing it's new protein. It's a powder of insect for animal and plant nutrition. And we have Connecting Food, which is a solution that provides digital transparency for agricultural now we can talk about UK. So the UK, with more than 1.1 billion USD invested in 2020, UK is ranked the 1st country in geographical Europe in terms of IDE. So the sector is really dynamic and employ a lot of people. So 500,000 employees. Maybe you can go on the next slide to see opportunities in the UK. So actually the Brexit could have been seen as something negative, but actually it's pretty positive for Actec because the country wants to be independent in terms of agriculture. So Actec solution are really welcome in this Brexit environment. Plus the government is supporting Actec's sectors within different with them. And also the agriculture is innovative and connecting already and is supported by a really good supply chain. Also London and Bristol are already really dynamic hubs of vertical agriculture, so they have the knowledge and the know-how. So it's really a good place also UK. And now Italy. Maybe we can go on the next slide. Italy. Well, you have a few startups. I'm not going to detail them. You're going to take time maybe later to see, but it's just to show you that they have also good startup that raise money over the in 2020. So yeah, Italy. So Italy is more an outsider. We didn't so Italy in the top 6 countries ranked in the world, but with an Actec market with about 540 million euro invested in 2020, it's an interesting market. Also, there is existing Actec solution, more than 500 innovative company in the sectors. So we can see that the environment is pretty dynamic. Maybe you can go on the next slide. In fact, so in Italy, there is many opportunities also in the Actec sectors because the government put in place an agriculture fund 4.0 program to support farmers investing in modern and connected in equipment. Also, according to a study, there is 2/3 of agricultural companies that want to invest in agricultural technologies and solutions. And with a small amount of equipped land, Italy represents a real opportunity for the AgTech sectors. And the next slide, you're going to see a few startups that have raised money over the past in 2020. Also, I'm not going to detail them. Maybe you will have time to see what they do. And we're going to talk about Ukraine in the next slide. So Ukraine, also another outsider. So Ukraine, with more than 571 million USD invested in tech in 2020, and with its leading position in number of ICT experts, Ukraine is definitely a tech country with an important part of agriculture in its economy. So it makes Ukraine a really interesting place for AgTech investors or new innovative company. In fact, the Ukraine state also supports the sectors with an innovative ecosystem, and they launched the Startup Fund, which really wants to welcome a new startup with easy way to implement a company. The government willingness to develop employment in the ICT field favors the establishment also of innovative company in the country. And finally, Ukraine is an agricultural country where only 10% of the farmers use technological solution. So it represents a really real development opportunities for investors and also new innovative companies. And then there is few startups. Also, I'm not going to detail them, but just to show you that there is a few startups that raise money over the past years. And Laure, maybe you're going to just...
Very shortly, because I think we're already running late. So this is a team. So we are about 14 people focusing on equipment innovation for the agrotech sector. So helping French company to develop projects abroad. So maybe next slide. Just to give you a little overview of what we propose to the French company to help them in their commercial development abroad. So this is a list of the collective projects we have in the next couple of months. So you can see we work a lot on Europe, Germany, Italy, but we also work for many years to do projects in Brazil and the US. And this year we had a new sequence in China. So it's a digital one to help French company to introduce more the AgTech and food tech sector in China. Is currently open, so if any interest of any of you, please feel free to contact us. Next slide, please. Just to show you the geographical distribution, but basically it's the same than the last slide. Maybe we can go to the conclusion. If you want to keep in touch with us, several ways. First, we have our dedicated website, so you can click on the address on the left. We also have a monthly newsletter, which show all the project we do for the French company, and we are quite active also on Twitter and LinkedIn, so you can always find a way to follow us. Next slide, just our contact details. So Juliette, who is specifically in charge of a startup for food and agri-tech, and myself, so I'm more responsible for the overall unit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laure and Juliette. We will follow with how to fund that kind of AgTech. As we see, it's a dynamic field with a big evolution, as we see all around Europe. So we will just have a special focus how to finance that type of AgTech via the Green Deal. With the presentation of Katarzyna. So Katarzyna, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Isabelle. So right now, actually, we have an excellent timing to boost and speed up Actec development. It is related both to the policies at European and national levels, but also linked to the availability of funding concrete programs and schemes that can allow companies to fund and develop those solutions. So in terms of European Green Deal, just very briefly, this is a roadmap for in EU's economy to make it more sustainable, to make it more clear, and the objective is to turn the challenges that Europe is currently facing in terms of climate and environment to convert them into opportunities. So Green Deal, it also works across different policy areas. There are a lot of them, so we won't be specifying each of them in detail, but just to highlight, it is about all the sectors of the economy, and it also includes agriculture and ICT. So one of the specific areas is farm to fork strategy, which also have a lot of development possibilities. So it was about Green Deal, and in terms of concrete program to finance research and innovation for the next 6 years, we have Horizon Europe with a budget of 95.5 billion euros, which is basically focused on common issues such food, air quality, ocean conditions, health, and agriculture. This program is divided into 4 pillars. All of them are quite interconnected, and the first one it's excellent science, which is focused on research, trainings, networks, and the development of research infrastructures. Then we have pillar number 2, global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. So here are 6 specific identified areas within which we have digital industry and space, and food and bioeconomy and natural resources, agriculture, and environment, which are directly linked to Actec. And apart from this, there is a pillar number 3, Innovative Europe, which is focused widely on innovation. Pillar 4, it has more cross-cutting approach. So this one, it's aimed at broadening the participation of stakeholders and dissemination of the research. So in the next slide, we will see just a very simple graphic of how to approach this Actec topic from different perspectives. So this can be used by connecting pillar 2 and pillar 3, and after the pitching sessions, we will also talk about very concrete funding opportunities that are for SMEs, for clusters, for research, and can be used and export within next months and years. So so from my side is by now all. Thank you very much for listening, and looking forward to the next session.
Well, thank you, Katarzyna. It's obvious that the Green Deal is a funding that is very important for our companies. And now we will follow with testimonies of 2 Actec. As I said, a French one, My Easy Farm, with his co-founder François Thirat. François, welcome. And then we will give the floor to the co-founder of MaxCrop with a presentation of Marek. I hope Marek is in line. I don't see it, but we will begin with a testimony of My Easy Farm. So François, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone, except that this is the MaxCrop slide.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, good. So My Easy Farm, very briefly, My Easy Farm is an Actec startup based in Reims, in France. We have developed 2 solutions. One solution in the precision farming environment. What does it mean? It means apply the right amount of products at the right time, the right place in the fields. So we aggregate a lot of data from more than 20 sources today, from satellite, from weather station, soil maps, sensors. And of course, we are connected with all the equipments to facilitate the usage of the numerical data into the machines. So this is typically what we are doing. And also we are using the ag machines also as a source of data to record exactly what is going on in the fields and get the most precise information about that. This is one thing. And more recently, we have launched My Easy Carbon. You know, the carbon topic is something very important in agriculture. Agriculture is 20% of the emissions of CO2. And we have developed this My Easy Carbon solution to help the farmers make a diagnostic, but also reduce their emissions of CO2 by reducing the emission, but also storing more carbon in the soils. So if you go to the next slide. So yes, so the value of the My Easy Farm solution is, first of all, is economic for the farmers, as they can reduce the amount of products they are using in each field every year, between 50 to 100 euro per year. So it's quite an amount. Also, we are helping them to reduce their emissions and their usage of pesticides and things like that. And the quality of data that is used or collected by the platform is much more precise. In terms of CO2 emissions, in average, a farmer can save 1 ton equivalent CO2 per hectare and per year. And you can start to see projects in Europe, like in France, the Label Bas Carbone Grande Culture, where this carbon credit can be paid between 30 to 50 euro per carbon credit. So it's a potential additional revenue for farmers, and it's also a way to help farmers move to more sustainable agriculture.
Okay.
Don't want to make it, I can't talk about during years about that, but let the floor to.
You have time, if you want to add something else, you have some minutes.
Maybe some experience about Business France. So we have been helped by Business France to go outside of France. Of course, we have more than 40% of our business out of France now. We have opened an office in Italy. That was in February. We opened an office in Brazil. That was in May this year. We are also working with part of our R&D based in Russia. So we are really international, and we have really been helped by Business France to make this type of things. So I really recommend for other startups to be in touch with Business France about this type of thing.
Wow, it's a good experience. Can I ask you how many people are involved in My Easy Farm?
So today, My Easy Farm is 14 people. We 14. Have more than 500 farmers, paying farmers for the platform, and we are generating 4K euro MRR for the investors that can understand this type of criteria.
Congratulations. So we will follow with presentation of MaxCrop. So I think Marek is here. Yes. So I will give the floor to Marek Szorobinski, which is the co-founder of this Actec, MaxCrop. So Marek, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I think we have some technical problems, but I've been right from the beginning of this meeting with you. And I can see that I'm under the name of Tomasz, but that's just a small mistake. So yes, a few words about the MaxCrop then. So MaxCrop is an application as a software. It's intelligent farm work assistant. It's for every type of business where the settlements, the wages are not the standard ones. So what I mean by that is, if you can imagine the office worker that works for 8 hours every day, with the agriculture business, especially the one where we pick the fruits or the veggies by hand, every day can be a different, so every day that might be different times of work. Every day the workers made different wages. So it's very complicated to do the settlements in the end of the week or in the end of the month. And so that's where the MaxCrop mainly helps. How does it work? It's data collected by the phone or PDA. PDA is like a scanning device during the day in the field. And then the data are sent to the private account using the internet connection. So it can be either done on the field if you have like a connection with the internet or SIM card in the device, or it can be done offline just by the end of the day when you bring the devices to the office and download the information to the computers. And on your computer, you can find out detailed information such as how long the workers did work, how many fruits they've picked, every single of them, how much money have you spent on the crops, such data that helps you to do the settlements. Can you please put another slide? So working with the MaxCrop system, what benefits does it give you is reduce the management and labor costs. First of all, if we think about working on the farms like 10 years back, 20 years back, that was mainly a pen and a notebook, and the people who's picking the fruits or the veggies come and you just make a note that someone bring the 1 kilo of strawberries or just a tray. Now with those devices, it's all done with the new technology. It's more efficient, so you doesn't need so many supervisors on the field. It's done much quicker and much efficient. Rich statistic by which you know the real costs and effectiveness of crops. By that I mean automatically when we gather the data on the fields, the MaxCrop give you the feedback. How much have you spent per each field? It can give you such a details like how much money does cost you each type of work, and by that you can really determine which variety or which fields are the best, what should you grow in the future. Saving time up to 3 hours. I think it's even more than 3 hours. I think 3 hours is like if you have about 50 workers, but we work with the farms that there's 300 or 500 workers. So again, if you think about the farm work and the employees, that every single day is a different, and every single employee can make a different wage. It's a lot of work. Even if you use like Excel spreadsheet, it's still a lot of work to do, because normally what we see is the people gather the data on the field to some kind of a notebook, then they bring it to the office and they type it into the computer to the spreadsheet and then try to do the wages settlement. With the MaxCrop system, we use those smartphones or barcode readers. So once you put the data to the smartphone that someone bring you so many fruits or start the work at 7 o'clock in the morning, for example, then on the end of the day, you don't need to do nothing. It's just the data is sent to the computer and the computer give you all the data back. So this person works 7 hours, he's picked 40 kilos of fruits. You, of course, can settle the price for the fruits for that day. And on the end, it says, okay, this person is supposed to earn today 100 euro or 800 or 80 euros. So this means it's actually to work with about 100 people on the farm to do the settlements. It's about 15 minutes a day, not 3 hours or not 4 hours. Increasing employee productivity. What do we mean by that is just because you can see all those settlements very easy on the computer, it's very easy for you to see who's the best employees, the best workers, who's the average, and who needs some extra training or help, because you can see day by day or by weeks how does they perform. And by that, if you focus on those, let's say, weaker workers, you might let them work a bit faster, so that's your productivity increasing. Traceability. This is one of the best feature that we have, because we are using the barcodes on the products, on the packages, and product traceability give us a few things. First of all, we can say using the MaxCrop who does pick those fruits, so the name of the worker, when they have been picked, and where they have been picked. And those three main information we can find out on every single step of the production. So this is very handy for us, but also from our experience, what we can see is it's just enough for the workers that they know about it. We can find out, and they know that there cannot be any compromise with the quality of the products that they've picked, because they know that we can find out at any stage of the production who picked those fruits. So, for example, what we often can see if the workers work on the piecework and they just want to earn a little bit more money, sometimes the quality decrease when they increase the speed. With this traceability option, we can just come back to them the next day or 1 hour time or whenever we find out that there is something wrong with the fruits, and tell them, look, you need to be more careful with the quality. So this work amazing. And we know that from experience, our clients told us that quality of the products really raise up. Accurate accounting of staff and harvest time. Again, compare using the device to the notebook. We are having all the data very accurate. So if we have 100 workers and all 100 of them will finish at different time at one day, and sometimes it's really happening. With the device, we can easily record it. There's no problem for it. Where normally, if we would work with the notebook and a pen, we would just try to make it 1 hour for everyone. So if someone finished 2:45, someone at 3 o'clock, and someone 3:15, we would say everyone finish at 3 o'clock, which is not completely right. Office at hand, access your account from any device with the internet access. So again, this is quite nice feature. Doesn't mean that we need to stay in the office, doesn't mean we need to stay on the farm. If we want to finish earlier, if we want to go to home or we are on the holiday, internet connection is all that we need to find out what is the progress on the farm, what's happening that day, have they finished work already, how much fruits that they've picked that day. So it's just as simple as log into your account and check all those informations. Data recording and settlements of employment on the field using a telephone or PDA. So another feature, not only all the wage settlement we can see on the computer in the office, but also as possible to see on this mobile device that's on the field. And why is it so important? Some farms have employees that just come to work for one day. They just come and work for one day, and we need to pay them the money at the end of the day because they finish for that day and might not come back the next day. And we have access to those information on that device as well, so we can do the quick settlements even on the fields. Of course, there is a bit less informations, but it's possible to do. And one more thing, apart from all those settlements, wages, and all that I've just said, MaxCrop system automatically gathering the data to do the wages, to do the wages settlements, give us a lot of extra information about the crops. So as I said before, it can tell us exactly how much money does cost us the crops, what did we spend those money on, so exactly what type of work did we spend them on, and what profits did we have. So this is something that is happening automatically. We don't need to do anything to have those information back, and they are very important to make a profitable business. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marek. It was really very complete, a lot of information. So we will follow with new information that I would like to share with you. We see that we have opportunity via the Green Deal to finance our AgTech, but there is a new program which name is Next Generation EU, which is there to accelerate our innovation. It is done in the context of the COVID, of the damage, of the impact of the damage of the COVID-19. And I think it's quite interesting to see that there is a big budget, around 800 billion. So as I said, 50% of this budget is in grants, and the other 50% are loans. And the objective is to boost research and innovation, and to have a greener and a more sustainable and digital economy. So the objective really is to boost our competitiveness by stimulating innovation. So as you see on your left, the main topics that are financed are around clean technology, but also new sustainable transport, for example, digitalization, and but also around education and training. That's a big part. And on the other side, there is a contribution of next generation to reinforce programs that exist, such as Horizon Europe, but also Just Transition. For example, 50% of the new priorities are focused on research and innovation via Horizon Europe. Also on the topic of fair climate and digital transition via the fund Just Transition and Digital Europe, that you know, I think everyone. And 30% will be used to fight climate change, and 20% to invest in digital transformation. So really, there is a big focus on a greener and a more digital economy that can be very useful for our companies. And this program is implemented then in all national recovery plan. There is a negotiation between the European Commission and each member state. And we will see the example of the French recovery plan. For France, it's around 100 billion. As I said, there is a part coming from Next Generation EU, 40%, and 60% are co-funding by France, especially on three main topics. The first one is around ecology, with the objective of neutrality carbon in 2050. The second one, as I said, is around competitiveness, especially investing in green technology, but also to support research and training. And the third one is around to develop social and environmental recovery. In France, the implementation of this program, of this plan, is included in what we call Programme d'Investissement d'Avenir, is the fourth one, the PIA4. And the objective is to boost the main economic and technologies challenges of the future, and to invest in that kind of program or technology. There is a special focus on 4 points: the decarbonization of industry, the sustainable agriculture systems, but also agricultural equipment to contribute to the ecological transition. And the third one is around the alternative of conventional fuels, such as bio-based products and sustainable fuels, and also to implement and support advanced technology for energy systems. We have to develop that program, what we call accelerators, and there is a special one which name is French AgriTech. Business Friends at the beginning of his presentation mentioned it. It will be 200 million on the period of 2021 to 2025, and it will be via 2 calls. The first one will be around innovate for a successful ecological transition with a budget of 90 million euro. And the second one will be around the future food needs with 100 million. So there is a lot of money, there is a lot of opportunity to boost research development, but also to invest in new technology for a greener, a more resilient and digital economy. So now we will follow with a selection of other kind of financing, especially with the selection of 7 calls in Horizon Europe to build research development projects. So I give the floor to Katarzyna.
Thank you, Isabelle. So indeed, we wanted to prepare this workshop also in a practical and concrete way to identify and seize all those opportunities that are right now in Europe for funding AgTech solutions. So as already mentioned before, AgTech is a very wide concept, and we can use also different approaches to try to select those signings. In our case, we have been analyzing the funding and tender opportunities platform SEDIA, which collects all the open and forthcoming opportunities. And here we selected 7 that were identified from 2 points of view. And in the second slide, we will start by presenting European financing opportunities that will be open this month, mostly on 28th of October, and they were selected from this food bioeconomy, natural sources, agriculture, and environment perspective. So the first one is an effective system for authenticity and traceability in the food system. This one is research and innovation actions. It's a single stage model, so it requires the presentation of the whole proposal by the 15 February, 17 hours Brussels time. The second one is related to emerging and future risks to plant health. This one is another type. This is a 2-stage type. So in this case, the first proposal is small and shortened, and when it is selected to the second stage, so this is updated and it's developed in more detail. So in this case, also the first stage deadline is 15 February, and the second stage will be for September to 2022. Then another two calls which are more related to smart solution and for smart rural communities, as clusters and organization and agriculture companies are also very active in rural zones. So here there's a call that is aimed at empowering rural communities and also smart villages to innovate for societal change. In this case, as colleagues from Business France also mentions, Actec is a very wide concept, and societal changes are also very wide. So, within this call, there's also an opportunity to prepare consortia that will face concrete challenges in rural zones that will be faced by using smart solutions. The fourth and last from the selected calls, this one is it's more wide. It's about fostering the resilience of agriculture production, from observation of changes to the development of resilient strategies. So this one is also a single stage proposal with opening date of 28th of October. So just to briefly sum up those opportunities from agriculture point of view. Also, we have there is a lot of space and field to boost cross industry, cross cluster, and cross sectoral collaboration in field of specific scope that is the aim of the call. In the next slide, we will also present you some finding schemes that we selected from digital industry space point of view. So here the focus is more on technological development, but also it's very connected with circular economy and with agriculture. So just as a few examples, there is a call that is aimed at functional electronics for green and circular economy. This is the research and innovation type of actions, and and this will open. This is already open and will close on 21st of October. The second one is also related to artificial intelligence, data and robotics for the Green Deal, and via different partnerships. And the last one is development of technologies and devices for bio-intelligent manufacturing, which is covering very broad types of potential finding projects. So there's when you enter the Cedia platform, you will find a lot of open and forthcoming calls. So here the challenge and also is to identify the appropriate one to create a consortia that will have at least 3 organizations from 3 different EU countries, and also prepare a proposal that will address the scope of the challenge. So so we also are at your disposal in terms of identifying potential calls and for building international consortia, because as already said, there is a lot of funding opportunities. There is also a good market trends in terms of investing in Actec, and we would love to support you in growing in this field. So thank you very much for this time, and again we would be happy to support you in applying for European funding.
Well, thank you very much, Katarzyna. So we are at the end of our webinar. If you have some questions, please use the chat. We will try to answer you. If there is no question, well, we will see. No, I have no question. If you have some question, please use the chat. Otherwise, you have our contact. And we will answer you later after the webinar if it's the case. You will receive also a link to fill a little survey. Please fill it. It's important to us to have your feedback. And if you want that the PIC organize another webinar on some topic, please send us the information because the webinars are for you. So it's to share some information, to share to put in links enterprise to enterprise and so on. So don't hesitate to propose some topics. I don't see any, one question is there, I don't see. There are a lot of questions. I don't see it. Contact detail. No, I don't see again all the content. Well, you'll receive the replay, as I said. So you'll have the presentation. I don't see any question. So that means that everything was very clear. I hope so. So I will give.
I think that there is one question, yes, or
sorry.
There is one. I think that there is one question actually.
What is the question,
yes.
Please? I don't see.
What is your recommendation for startup to access this help?
Yes, and that was me who asked the question. Actually, you know, Katarzyna, when you are a small startup, and I can imagine that there are a lot of companies in that case, this is something quite complex to understand how to access to this type of helps, subsidies, and so on from Europe. What is your recommendation to go and to submit something, an application?
From a very practical point of view, so first of all, you would need to register your company, your SME, which is totally suitable for financing, in the authentication platform of the CEDIA of the European Commission. So you'll receive like your specific ID number to be able to be part of those consortia. So this is like the first step, and then I think that the first step will be also approach to see what kind of ongoing projects are already being implemented. Try to find similar SMEs that are already being part of the consortia, or maybe also to joint consortia as stakeholders, just to be very close to those who are implementing, to learn and to see what kind of if this kind of support is for your company. But from PIC plant intercluster point of view, it would be very good to be very close to the network, because clusters are submitting different proposals to benefit SMEs. So currently there are also cascade funding. There are also different business services, business opportunities for SMEs to benefit from those projects without being like a formal partner, and also not using not being responsible for all EU development. So just for instance, this is the case of also of our company that we are collaborating with, MaxCrop. So for now we are implementing a COSME project related to internationalization, and we are supporting also the international expansion to other countries. So I think it could be also a good way to organize like another webinar to showcase step by step what are the concrete recommendations to access this help from startups and SMEs point of view.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't see any more questions, so I think it's time to close that webinar. Thank you very much for all the speakers, business friends, Laure and Juliette, Katarzyna, Marek and François, and I say you good day and see you later. So you have our email, so don't hesitate to contact us if you need it. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow.